Somebody told me a story about a company that catches really big fish, but they're not fish, okay? If you haven't seen my first mermaid and sirens video that I made the other day, it's the first pinned video on my page, or you're not going to understand this video at all. So like I said, they went back out on the water. They'd been out like 5 or 6 more times and hadn't seen anything until finally they did, but this time it looked different, and this one was a fighter. Now, I think it's fair to say that, they fish normal fish, okay, because they have to have their cover up, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they have all of these fancy devices in Captain Burgess's office, or whatever you want to call it, in his cabin, to where he actually has equipment to track these sirens down. And like I said before in the video, he has a very specific clientele, and each one of them have, like, different things they are doing. The first one was a meal, but anyway. So they get the second one, they get the tank out there, they finally get her in it because she has got nails, you know what I mean? And she scratches one of the guys named Luke. We're going to call him Luke. But they finally get the mer woman, whatever you want to call it, siren, over in there, and she is thrashing. Like, she is not having it. The first one was docile. This one is not going. Now, in the process, like I said, she scratched the guy named Luke, and it was pretty deep. He's being attended to, whatever, off to the side. They're trying to get her to go all the way in so they can lock it down. And they end up damaging her. I think he said that what happened was her hand she was trying to claw her way out, and they slammed the lid, and when they did, it took them fingers off, all the tips of them. Now, this very specific set of clientele that was going to purchase her, you know what I'm saying? They didn't want damaged materials, so they ended up having to find another buyer. Okay, Captain Burgess ended up having to find another buyer for a damaged one. And when I say she was a fighter, like, they were having to do every hour checks on this tank that's in a very specific location on this boat. So each one of them would have to do a rotation. And they're going further off to an island to the new buyer or whatever that will accept a damaged siren. And so they're having to feed her. Now, don't ask me how they did it. He never actually said how they got the food to her, but they were feeding her. Well, Landon is already struggling with his humanity because of what happened to the last one, and it was a very docile one. And this one is not. And he said that he had to go in there and feed her, and that one of the fingers had grown back so they can self-regenerate. So he tells his cousin Travis, he's like, look, I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, dude, he was like, this is not one of those gigs that you can just walk in and walk out. That's not going to happen. So this particular buyer ended up being a big-time military person within some type of, I don't want to say military. I don't think it was military, but it's one of them things that even presidents don't know about. You know what I mean? Like a secret research island. And Burgess tells him when they get there that, hey, look, we told you she was damaged, but one of the fingers has grown back. Okay, so at this point, they already knew that they were going to grow back. Okay, they already knew. So that means they've been researching on these things for a very long time. But he did say that he wasn't allowed to go back, but when the door opened, that he could see where Burgess and the buyer had walked back, that there were more than just sirens back there. There were cages with things that he had never seen before. He didn't even know how to put them into words. He also stated that this is the longest time that he had ever been out with this particular crew, and that he was gone probably a month. And we'll get into what happened during that amount of time, but this is getting kind of long.